Welcome to Physical Education 6080 lesson for today. Sports Skills Development Introduction to Rugby. Today, we will identify the markings of the rugby field. We will state the measurements of the markings of the rugby field. Let's kick off with this question. What is rugby? Rugby union, simply known as rugby, is a football game played with an oval ball where 15 players on each team with 8 substitutes on the bench aim to score more points than the other side through the line of the field. Now, there are different versions of rugby. Number 1, rugby league. This is a form of rugby where a team comprises of 13 players. Number 2, rugby sevens. This is a form of rugby where a team comprises of 7 players. Actually, rugby sevens is the form of rugby that we find at the Olympic Games. And this is the form of rugby which we are going to watch and witness in the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games next month in July. So it is comprised of 7 players per team. Number 3, wheelchair rugby. This is a form of rugby that is meant for people with disabilities. Number 4, touch rugby. This is a form of rugby where the tackling aspect of rugby is replaced with just a touch. Now, although there are different versions of rugby, the most popular form of rugby is what we refer to as rugby union. It is simply called rugby. This is a form of rugby actually that we find at the Rugby World Cup. In this form of rugby, each team is made up of 15 players. And this is the form of rugby that we are going to focus on in our lesson. Briefly, let us look at the history of rugby. Rugby was invented at a rugby school in Warwickshire, England in 1823 when during a football game, William Webb Ellis decided to pick up a ball and run with it. So it was really a funny moment. You know, there was a football game at rugby school in England in Warwickshire, and this man, William Webb, decided to pick up the ball during a football game and run with it across, the field of play. This led to, the people to come together and develop another kind of football which would be different from the football that we know, the soccer, where people would use their hands to pick up the ball and run with it. So this moment, at the rugby school in Warwickshire was the moment which led to the development of the game of rugby in England in 1823. Okay, so now let us look at the rugby union playing field, the markings and the measurements. So let us begin right here. This line over here is what we refer to as the dead ball line. After the dead ball line, we have this line over here. It is referred to as the goal line. Then just after the goal line, 5 meters inside this line here, okay? 5 meters from the goal line going inside this dashed line over here, that dashed line, that dashed line, that dashed line is referred to as the 5-meter line. Why is it called the 5-meter line? Because it is 5 meters from this line, the goal line. So 5 meters from the goal line coming inside, we have this line dashed, okay? It is referred to as the 5-meter line, okay? Then we have this line over here, the one which is not dashed, this line here, it is referred to as the 22-meter line. Then we have another dash line over here, okay? From one end to the other end, this dash line, it is referred to as the 10-meter line. After the 10-meter line, we have this line which divides the court into 2 halves. It is referred to as the halfway line. So what is on this one half is exactly what is on the other half side of the field. So this is the 10-meter line, that is the 22-meter line, this is the goal line, and that is the dead ball line. Okay, then from one goal line to the other goal line, okay, from this goal line to the other goal line, this part of the rugby field, this line which joins the 2 goal lines or the try lines is referred to as the touch line. So take note that the other name for goal line in rugby is try line. So from one try line to another try line, that line which joins the 2 try lines is referred to as the touch line. Then when you just extend the touch line, the touch line, yes, from one goal line to the dead ball line, this line here. You know, when you attach the goal line and the dead ball line, that line there is what we refer to as the touch in goal line. It is the same here from one goal line to another, to the dead ball line rather. That line which attaches the two is referred to as the touch in goal line. Okay, then if you observe also carefully, from the touch line 5 meters into the inside of the field, okay, from the touch line into the inside of the field, there's this dashed line. Okay, this also is referred to as a 5-meter line, because from the touch line 5 meters into the playing field we have this line, therefore it is referred to as the 5-meter line. Then from the touch line 15 meters into the playing field, this dashed line over here, okay, this dashed line over here is referred to as 15-meter line. So the 15 meters is from the touch line to this line, 15 meters. From the touch line to this first line here, this is 5 meters. So this is a 5-meter line, this is a 15-meter line. So it is the same over, this is a 15-meter line, and the down one is the 5-meter line. And what we have inside here, this is a goalpost, and that is a goalpost. Basically, these are the markings and the dimensions of the rugby playing field. Okay, quickly, let me just also talk about the length of the touch line. So from one goal line to another goal line, the length is from 94 meters to 100 meters. So the length of the touch line must never exceed 100 meters. It is from 94 meters to 100 meters. Then the length of the goal line or the try line, okay, the length of the goal line or the try line is between 68 meters to 70 meters. So the length of the goal line must never exceed 70 meters. So it is between 68 meters to 70 meters. So these are the dimensions of the rugby union playing field. Now quickly, let us look at the rugby union goalpost. Okay, so from the ground to where we have this bar here, okay, from the ground to where we have the bar, okay, this bar here, the distance is 3 meters. Okay, then from the ground all the way up, the height of the post must exceed 3.4 meters. So it can be 3.4 meters, can be 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, can go up to 16 meters. Okay, the height of the post must, from the ground, it must exceed 3.4 meters. Then from one post to another post, the distance is 5.6 meters. So these are the specifications of the rugby union goal post. Okay, and over here also you can observe the rugby union field markings. Their names: the dead ball line, the try line, the 5-meter line, 22-meter line, 10-meter line, and halfway line. And these are the lines that we have talked about. So friends, today marks our introduction to rugby, and in today's lesson we have looked at what rugby is, we have briefly traced the history of rugby, and most importantly we have identified and named the markings of the rugby union playing field. We have also looked at their dimensions, their measurements, how much do they measure, what is their length. In our next lesson we are going to look at the functions of the markings that we have talked about. So friends, thank you for joining and thank you for your attention. I hope you have learned something today. We shall meet next time. Enjoy. Bye-bye.